Yes, good morning, students. This is Mr. Santosh Lodha. As we have already studied India on the eve of independence, we have already started, and one part of which we have already completed. At that time, I have explained you little bit about India on the eve of independence. What was the status of India on the eve of independence? Now, let's discuss today. That day, we have already discussed about the agricultural sector. Now, let's discuss about industrial sector. Okay, students. Today we are going to discuss about industrial sector as well as demographic conditions and foreign trade. So let's start. First of all, that day, if you remember, I told you what is colonialism. So, what is colonialism? Colonialism is actually a situation where a foreign country will be ruling over our country. And we all know that India was ruled over by the Britishers for more than 150 years, approximately 200 years. At that time, what they were doing, actually they were making the rules and regulations, and the people of India, they have to follow whether the rules and regulations are for our benefit or not. They were doing whatever beneficial for themselves. So that was colonialism. Under that, they have totally ruined our economy. They have just made our economy as a backward economy. Let's see what happened now. Now, at that time, what was happening? Actually, during the British rule, our economic development was very low. Why it was very low? You might be knowing. Even I told you before itself. They were just, their main motive was just to transfer Indian economy into just a supplier of raw materials, and at the same time, they want that Indian economy should become a market for their machine-made goods. That was their main motive, and that's why they were not at all worrying about our economic development. They were just worrying about only and only how to make profit, or how to, we should say, underdevelop our economy, how to make our economy as a backward economy, how to ruin our economy. At that time, I would say, like on the eve of independence, some of the economists during the independence also, I would say, sorry, during the British rule also, some of our economists, they have just told something about our Indian economy, that how our Indian economy was. There are a few economists whose names are given over there: Dadabhai Naoroji, William Digby, Finlay Sidras, V.K. R.B. Rao, and R.C. Desai. For Dadabhai Naoroji, if I'll say how he was the first person who measured per capita income. How he measured? Like he was just he went to jail, one of the jail, and he just found like how the people are. What is the, I would say, like routine of the people? How much they are eating, and per month, and what is their activity? How much calories they want, etc., etc. And on the basis of that, he calculated that how much calories are required by per person, and on the basis of that, he calculated per capita income. And then he said that whether the per capita income is low or fine. Okay. Now let's talk about industrial sector on the eve of independence. What was the condition of our industrial sector on the eve of independence? Yes, students, you should know, like our industrial sector. What was industrial sector? At that time, we should say India could not develop a sound industrial based under the colonial rule. Why? Under the colonial rule, India was not at all given, I would say, benefits, or we should say the Britishers were not at all helping Indian people to develop the industrial sector, or to open the industries, or to set up the industries. No help was given by the government. In fact, they were just ruining. Why they were ruining the industries? Because already we have studied their main motive was, what was their main motive? Their main motive was to ruin our Indian economy, because our handicraft industry was very much famous. India was worldwide famous. Even we have discussed long before also that India was worldwide famous in exporting cotton, jute, raw silk, I mean to say even silk also, and many other things which we are going to discuss once again later on. Today also in this particular chapter. So all those products because of that reason, India was earning a lot of money. India was making a lot of money. Even you might have heard that India, before Britishers arrived, India was known as Golden Bird, Sone ki Chidiya. They have ruined our India totally, and that was their total planning how to do it. India was very good in handicraft industry. So what they have done, they have just made the people, I mean to say those who were engaged in the handicraft industry, they forced them to just stop the industries and just diverted them into and forced them into agriculture sector. Why? Because they want the crops, that is commercial crops. They want that commercial crops to be grown for their town, because they were just sending those raw materials towards, I would say, in their home country, so that they can make final goods out of it. That was their main motive, and because of that reason, they have ruined our handicraft industry, and also few more industries where we were famous for. I would say in which we were famous for. Everything was ruined one by one. Okay, students. Now, in ruining what they have done, even discriminatory tariff policy also they have imposed. What is the meaning of discriminatory tariff policy? Like, if I'll talk about, whenever the foreign countries will deal with our India, I would say any two countries, whenever they will deal, business deal, whenever it will take place, there are some tariff. They have to pay some taxes on export as well as import. But Britishers, they were very smart. What they were doing, whenever the export and import was taking place, India, in between India and Britishers, there was no taxes, no tariff. But when the same thing was happening with other nation, they were levying heavy taxes. Due to which reason, what happened? Other countries, they just put a back set. They just went back and like without dealing with India. Why? Because the products were becoming very costly. They don't want to now purchase from India because the taxes were very heavy. Not even they were ready to, I would say, give to the, I would say like India was unable to import also from other countries. Why? Because of heavy taxes. What will happen? The product will become costly when it will reach to India's market. So only few nations were there with whom they were dealing. Almost, if we talk about what was the condition, you can just see the condition of our industries. No modern industries were there. These were the condition of our industries. You can just see the pictures. Like most of the industries were worked by the people. I mean, it's like manually it was operated and not any machines. No modern machineries were there. Now, if we'll see, if modern industry, what happened in the, like during the British rule, whether any modern industry is set up, and if it is set up, then also the growth rate was very slow. If you remember, in 1907, Tisco was developed by Jamshedji Tata. Tisco, that was a one modern, we can say modern industry, but still the growth rate was very slow. Why? Because we were not having modern, I would say like machineries and etc. Like modern equipments, modern machineries, and other things like raw materials, a good quality of raw materials. Lot of things we were lacking behind. Even investment also we were lacking behind. Now, if we'll talk about main motive, which you have already discussed, what was the main motive of the Britishers behind ruining the industrial sector or agriculture sector, etc., etc., because they want I would say India just to become the supplier of raw materials, mere the supplier of the raw materials, and to become the importer of the finished goods of there, because they want that a big market can be created in India for their products. They can sell it in our India. Now, if we talk about foreign trade, what was the condition of our foreign trade? As I said, before independence, I would say before Britishers arrived, at that time our foreign trade was excellent. India was very good in exporting cotton, tea, silk, jute, perfumery, and many other things are there, which we are going to discuss one by one. But later on, what happened? Like after the Britishers, the total import trade was like, I should say, the colonial government has totally diverted it. They have totally changed the scenario. Okay. See, if I'm talking about before Britishers' arrival, you can see over here a lot of pictures I have just pasted over here. See on the screen, you can see jewelry. India was very good in export, that is jewelry, cotton, silk, perfumes, and then dyeing stuffs, and also stoneworks. Many other things are there, you can see over here. These all, India was very good. But later on, what happened? These were the finished goods which we were selling to the other country. But later on, what happened? we started purchasing these finished goods from Britishers. Why? Because all the raw materials which were involved in making these finished goods were taken away by the Britishers. So you can see what happened. Drain of wealth was taking place. Our India's wealth was draining. Why? Britishers have done a wonderful job. Just they have done everything like how to take away the wealth from our India. Not even this thing. They have just built the Suez Canal for their benefit. And later on, after building this Suez Canal, the trade between the India and I would say between India and Britain became very easy. Why? Because easily they can carry out all the raw materials whichever they require easily also and fastly and also at less cost also. And once again they were bringing the finished goods in our India easily. So drain of wealth was taking place. If we'll talk about foreign trade during British rule, you can just see over here the same thing whatever I've discussed just now that was taking place. India's export was like more than its import. India was like having a deficit, but at the same time if we talk about like export, even the raw materials whichever, as I said, the government like Britishers were forcing our people to grow crops, I mean to say commercial crops. So obviously that commercial crops were exported to British. But after having so much export also, that means we were exporting a lot of products, lot of raw materials. So that means we might be earning surplus also, we might be earning profit also. But that surplus, instead of using that surplus for benefits of our India, for development of our India, the Britishers were not at all using that surplus for India's benefit. Then what they were doing? They have used that particular surplus for the sea. That surplus they have used for the war whichever was taking place between the Britishers and other countries, and also for their administrative purposes, and also one more thing like some other invalid services, or we can say the services which were not visible. They were just showing that these are the things wherever they have spent the money, and services, that means like for their administrative works, and even the people those who were staying over there, I mean it is like British personals, those who were staying over there, for their expenses, for personal expenses they were spending the money. Isn't it? Understood, students? Okay. So now next, now you can see what was happening in the foreign trade. Total control on foreign trade was of Britishers only. You can see the direction of the foreign trade. It was 50%, more than 50% of the trade was taking place only between the Britain and between India. And the rest of the 50% trade was taking place between only India and Ceylon, that is we can say Sri Lanka or China or Persia. Persia means nothing but at present we call it as Iran. So only 3 countries we were doing the trade apart from Britishers. This was condition of our foreign trade. And as I said, usage of export surplus, what they were doing, you can just see all the 3 points are there, right? Okay. Demographic profile, if we'll talk about now, what was the demographic condition at that time? Obviously, because of all these reasons, you can understand our demographic condition was very poor. Our demographic conditions were very poor. You can see the British rule suggested all the features, and like you can just see over here that various details about the sorry students, one slide. Okay, what was the demographic condition? As I said, the demographic conditions were very poor and our economy became very backward at that time. Why? Because already the drain of wealth was taking place. Apart from that, in 1921, what happened? Due to the medication, the birth rate, there was no control over the birth rate, but at the same time there was a little control over the death rate, and that's why what happened, the population was increasing day by day. And 1921 was the great divide year. If you remember what happened, it was near about the depression period, like when the prices, we call it as year of great divide. You might have studied in your 9th standard or 10th standard. At that time population grew rapidly, continuously and very fastly. So due to that reason, what happened, if population is increasing day by day, and on the other hand we are not having food stuff, because all the food stuff which we were growing before and all now had been stopped by Britishers. Instead of that, Britishers forced us to grow cash crops. that is commercial crops, that is cotton, jute, which are not at all as a food crop. So at that time, what happened? At the eve of independence, I mean to say at the time of independence, we were not at all sufficient in growing food crops. In fact, we were importing our food crops. And if we talk about before Britishers, India was having enough, not even enough food crops, but even we were exporting our food crops. We were abundantly producing our food crops. So that was the condition of our economy on the eve of independence. Now, after the time of independence, what happened? We can see few points are already there. Now, if we talk about the demographic conditions, we are going to discuss about the literacy rate, which was very poor. Like you can see over here, female literacy level was only 7%, and overall mortality rate, obviously, infant mortality rate, if we talk about 218 per thousand people were dying, but now present rate is 44 per thousand. That means we have improved a lot. You might be knowing what is infant mortality rate. That means a child, when a child will get birth, before reaching 1 year of age, if it dies, then we call it as infant mortality. So that was, suppose if we are talking about within 1 year, 1,000 children get birth, and out of 1,000, 218 people were dying, 218 children were dying, but now only 44. So that means we have improved a lot. Medication is increased. And if we'll talk about life expectancy ratio, that was at that time 32 years only, but at present it is 68 years. So now obviously it is good. If we'll talk about poverty, that time extensive poverty was prevailing. Why? As we said, as we have already discussed, the drain of wealth was taking place. Public health facility. What is public health facility? Like if we'll talk about water, sanitation, if we'll talk about hospitals, schools, colleges, educations, all these things, park, gardens, and many other things which are coming under the category of public health facilities, like medications and all. That was also not very good. It was not available to each and every person. It was not within the reach of each and every person. And if we talk about the waterborne diseases and airborne diseases, it was rampant at that time. It was very excess. Even now also, if we talk about airborne diseases prevailing, you know that due to the corona, we are locked down in our home itself. So at that time also, there were a lot of diseases which were spread. So these all are the conditions, we can say, demographic conditions of our India at the time of independence. Thank you, students, for today. In the next chapter, we are going to discuss about the other topics. Okay.